When it comes to politics, put the policies in the bag. That's it. What is happening? Why does everybody entertain these idiotic arguments? I can't stand this shit, dude. Oh, this person can bench press this much. This person can bench press that much. It's like, who cares?
Even I can lift 135 pounds, probably 15 times.
He can't. That's a lie. He's lying. That's cap. There's 0% chance that he could do good form 15, 135. Okay? That probably is the load-bearing statement on this entire process. Okay? Probably, he says. You're a fucking dweeb, bro. You are a goddamn nerd-ass loser. Who the put you in charge of making fun of motherfuckers who are trying to put a lift on for the first time in their lives, dude? Get the fuck out of here.
They did a whole profile on Hasan Piker where they said that because he worked out, because he has like visible abs and flexes and posts photos on his Instagram, and then that he has a MAGA body. Like, they are saying the quiet part out loud. They are acknowledging that health is not important to them, that fitness is a right-wing thing. Like, that is where we have gotten right now. So no wonder your revolution.
Yeah, I mean, fitness is not a right-wing thing, and it's very frustrating that people have like done this. And once again, I would go so far as to say it's not dissimilar to the ways in which, in like the Gamergate craze, a lot of liberals themselves actually represented like the hysterical woke scold style cartoonish depiction of the left willingly and voluntarily. We have too much marketing people on our side ideologically to consistently allow our opponents to frame the conversation around a reality that does not exist. If you look at the real world, if you look at, not that it matters whether someone is like physically fit or not. Ultimately, I don't give a shit about that kind of thing, even though I personally like it. And I think it's good if people are physically fit in general. But from a political perspective, I don't think it says anything about your politics. Having said that, however, if you were to look at like areas where a lot of Democrats congregate versus areas where a lot of Republicans congregate, and you just put a lineup of like the average Republican versus the average Democrat, I think the physically fit voters would most likely lean on the side of the average Democrat.
Left-wing Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani can't even bench 135 without a spot. And you might be saying, Brett, you can't even bench 135. I know. But when you go on X, there were so many women on there who were saying, okay, I know that I can't do this, but like, men, this is your wheelhouse. Like, what is, an average, what do I want to say, PR? Like, what do you guys actually bench? And the replies were hysterical. People were like, no, 135 is like my warm up. And people were like, there are all of these threads of like, yeah, 250, 180, whatever. I asked Alex, apparently his PR was, I think it's 285. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. Love you if I am. He said don't expect him to do that anymore because he like blew out his shoulder in college trying to do that. But anyway, that is what is going on here. Like, no wonder your big candidate can't do that when this is the culture that you've created, when you have created a culture that has villainized health and fitness. And I don't even know if the left cares. Like, at all. They villainized this. They've walked away from it. They have lost this. I don't think they care. However, Grand Canyon University does care about the culture that they cultivate on.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's a crazy segue into an ad. Okay, so couple things here. Number one, the notion that like the liberals and the left have like vilified working out, idiotic, incredibly marginal, not a real thing at all. It's just also not a part of objective reality. Once again, okay, look at the average liberal living in a city and how much they work out, whether it's Pilates or yoga or whatever the fuck they're doing, versus the average Republican in a place like Oklahoma, for example. Go to a fucking Walmart, okay? It's ridiculous. I said this even with the MAGA body shit that the New York Times did on my profile, right? So that's already incredibly stupid, okay? You can be jacked to the gills and be a liberal or a Republican. None of this shit matters. It's just marketing. These people are just like leaning into that to make it seem as though that is just the case when it just doesn't matter. It's not a part of reality at all. Secondly, and this is perhaps more important, Zohran Mamdani at the age of 33 is infinitely healthier than the average politician, both by his age and also by what kind of work he does. He is incredibly physically fit. He's just not physically fit in the lifting side of things. That's it. What's really frustrating about this process is that Zohran Mamdani walks, 20,000 steps a fucking day. What are we talking about? Get any right-wing Republican or even someone like myself. I work out all the goddamn time. I wouldn't be able to keep up with him. I wouldn't be able to walk the entire island of Manhattan. It's just a different kind of fit. Okay? That's it. You're comparing cardiovascular capabilities to strength, pure strength. That's all this is. And cardio is incredibly important. Zohran is a cardio guy, clearly. Okay? That's it. Like, if that was the case, then Sam Sulek would be the most, physically fit guy on the planet. And I love Sam, but let's be real. Anyway, listen. Let's get back to the story, because Ben Shapiro also has no one, and I mean no one, is dumber than Ben Shapiro talking about this. Because, Brett Cooper gets into it, and she's doing all the fucking back and forth. She's yapping.
Recalibrate and hit the gym.
But we got to talk about Ben Shapiro coming out and also swinging at Zohran Mamdani.
So that you can bench more than 135 and be stronger than Mamdani, including myself. Anyway, moving on back to the left and them caring about their culture. The funny thing is, even though the left was, putting out these articles and these opinion pieces just 3 months ago, now randomly, they do care about fitness. They do care about hitting the gym. And that's because they've realized that it's losing them votes. Because remember, a few months ago...
Dude, no, this is not real. No one cares. Are you kidding me? No one is like, oh, I'm not going to vote for the Democrats because they don't lift weights. Donald Trump is the president, okay? Donald Trump can't even walk up a flight of stairs. Joe Biden, at the age of 854, was more physically fit than Joe Biden. And his brain, Joe Biden was more physically fit at the age of 900 than Donald Trump, and his brain was leaking out of his fucking ear, okay? Shut the fuck up. This is so dumb. Nobody gives a fuck about how much you can lift, how much you can bench. When it comes to politics, put the policies in the bag. That's it. What is happening? Why does everybody entertain these idiotic arguments? I can't stand this shit, dude. Oh, this person can bench press this much. This person can bench press that much. It's like, who cares? How is Zohran Mamdani so much better at captivating the attention of young voters, young men especially, white men too, than anybody else that's running for the same fucking office, and he can't outlift Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, or fucking Eric Adams? How is that possible then? Turns out it has nothing to do with fucking what your bench press is, bro. These people are so dumb. What are we doing? What is this conversation? American politics has to be about everything but politics, okay? Politics, simply put, is about distribution of resources, power, and the continuation of said distribution with violence. Who gets to do violence? Who are the victims of said violence? That's what politics is. In America, on the other hand, politics is anything but what politics actually is, okay? It's about how much you can bench press. It's about whether you put Dijon mustard. It's about whether you wear whatever the fuck you're wearing. It's all about whatever commodities you're consuming. Are you a Labubu consumer? Are you a Labubu matcha enjoyer? Do you drink raw milk? None of this is about politics, man. When we're talking about actual politicians, what matters is their fucking policies. What the fuck? And Democrats entertain this idiotic notion as well. Cracker Barrel logos. Are they woke? Are they unwoke? What's going on there? It's so stupid. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. And that is by design, by the way. The reason why American politics is about anything but actual policy and actual politics, how we distribute the finite resources that we have, is by design, because both parties in the duopoly do not stand for the working class. So no one is actually out there invested in truly trying to reverse the trajectory that we're heading in the direction of. That's the reason why everybody plays their own version of the same fucking damn equation, where they have to just be like, oh yeah, I'm a leftist because I work out, or this person is right wing because they drink raw milk and eat 12 eggs a day. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing? God damn, dude. The reason why Zohran was able to cut away from that noise is because he was issue focused. That's it. That's it. We are issue focused. But the problem is Democrats do this shit too. Gavin Newsom is a great example of this. He has been really popping off, making big waves where, you know, they keep polling people 3 years out from the actual election to turn around and be like, oh, he's going to be the runner-up. He's going to be the runner-up. Why is he the runner-up? Because he's memeing. He's memeing hard. He's memeing super hard. All of this is utterly irrelevant. Gavin Newsom has major issues. I live in his state. Okay, I live under the gruesome rule of gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom in California Oblast. And let me tell you, the housing market is fucked here, okay? Fix it. Every goddamn election cycle, there's another ballot measure that's like, let's implement communism in California for all people living on California soil. And then those ballot measures get passed by like 80% margins. And then gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom will turn around and veto it. He'll be like, nah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say kill homeless people? That's what I'm going to do. It's so fucking stupid. And it sucks. It sucks because people eat this shit up. A lot of people do eat this shit up. We were talking about Zohran Mamdani, a person who's been able to make waves within the Democratic Party infrastructure. And I would go so far as to say a person who's been able to become a national politician as a direct consequence of being able to make waves in the Democratic Party's existing infrastructure. As an infiltrator, if you want to consider him an outsider from your perspective. I don't think so. Okay? Because theoretically, he's a Democrat. Okay? That's it. He is how the Democrats present themselves as. But the reason why he's seen as something different, and the reason why a lot of people that hold the levers of power within the Democratic Party's infrastructure are terrified of him, is because he is more honest than the average centrist Democrat. Ben Shapiro is attacking
Mamdani apparently cannot lift like one of those shake weights. And we now have video of it, and it's pretty impressive. Because he has to have this guy. They're cheering him. He does not get three. Two very assisted. Very, very assisted. Bench presses at 135 pounds. If you're going to do something like this and you're a public figure, you have to know your limitations. If you don't know how much you can bench, this is not a great time to try it out. It's like in front of a giant.
Why? Who gives a shit? Nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. Why is this a problem? Who gives a shit? Zohran has never presented himself as like this specimen that can like lift super high weights or whatever. If anything, it's more embarrassing when I see RFK Jr., who literally has made working out a important plank of his entire political identity, wear a goddamn lifting a lifting shirt and do half reps with like sub 135 pounds. Okay. That's infinitely more embarrassing than Zohran Mamdani being incapable of putting up 135 pounds. Okay. Zohran Mamdani is not like a fucking lifter. I literally asked him if he works out, and he said he does not. Okay. I was shocked by this because he's very physically fit. The reason why he's very physically fit is because he walks a lot. Okay. He's a cardio boy. It's all good.
Crowd of people in the middle of a mayoral race. A decent bench for a man is his own body weight. Zohran Mamdani, I assume, weighs more than 135 pounds. 130.
I think Ben's saying that because he's like maximum 130 pounds, I guess, because that's not true. There's diminishing returns. And even if you're 130 pounds, like, no, benching your body weight is somewhat impressive. I would say it's past the point of like introductory. That's not true. Like, utilizing just your pectoral muscles to be able to lift your entire body is an impressive lift. Okay? That is an achievement. That's not something you just arrive at with ease, no matter how light you are. Now, of course, when you're short, like Ben is, and you're lighter, like Ben is, you do have some lifting advantages. This is true, right? That's why the memes are, someone who's like 5'6" can just like touch a weight and then immediately become brolic. It's like, lifting memes. It's like automatic steroids. Okay. But overall, this is just a dick slinging competition for incredibly, immensely insecure people. That's all this is.
35 pounds is not a lot of weight, like not a lot of weight at all. I'm not a bench press enthusiast. For the record, I max out at around 200 pounds. So I'm not like an amazing.
First of all, if Ben Shapiro actually could do a 200-pound PR, that's fairly impressive for his size. The fact that he's also saying that that's not that impressive is ridiculous. Okay. And I don't believe that at all. I need to see it to believe it. I do not believe it. Okay. I do not believe that at all. You just said something that I've been curious about. Is walking really a good way to burn calories? I walk my dogs about 3 miles every day when it's not 110 degrees in Fort Worth, but I don't know if I should be doing more cardio on those days. Yes, walking is the best way to fucking lose weight if you want to lose weight. It's like it's low intensity cardio. Also, let me tell you something. The fact that he said his PR is 200 is also oddly suspicious. In the longer video, he also talks about Zohran's weights, and he doesn't immediately clock that it's 135 pounds. Every person, every novice lifter that's been inside of a gym immediately knows one 45-pound plate on one side and 145 plate on the other side is introductory. It's 135 pounds. Okay. At least for someone like myself who's been lifting for many, many years, that's like my warm-up, right? It's not, if you have a lot of experience in this field, this is a warm-up weight. Like, let's be real, okay? That doesn't mean anything, though, because for someone like myself, it might be a warm-up, but for many others, it's, a fairly high amount of weight, and that is perfectly fine, okay? But everybody knows instantly what 135 pounds is if they have worked out at all. Okay. How is 2 plates 135? Like as in 1 plate on one side and 1 plate on the other. 2 plates also more commonly means 225 pounds, which is 245 plates on one side and 245 plates on the other. The bar itself is also 45 pounds. So that's what it is. An Olympic bar is 45 pounds, and the big place that you have at that gym, in most gyms, is also 45 pounds. 200 pounds as your max weight is a very weird number to arrive at. Either he did the calculation off of how many reps he can do and arrived at the 200-pound number, or he's just making it up because it's a little suspicious. Normally, it would probably be like 205, I suspect, or 225, or 215. It wouldn't just be like, it's not a very common weight that you would point to.
Amazing bench press connoisseur. Even I can lift 135 pounds, probably 15 times.
He can't. That's a lie. He's lying. That's cap. I think that's cap. I don't think he could do 15 for 135. It would be impressive for his size, I would say. There's 0% chance that he could do good form 15, 135. Okay. That probably is the load bearing statement on this entire process. Okay. Very, very load bearing. Probably, he says.
Because that's not a lot of weight.
Anyway, there was a couple things that he said in the longer video. Do we have the longer video from Benny Boy's content? Because I need to point to it. Maybe he's like actually only lifted weights in a Smith machine, not a Smith machine, in a bench press machine, which of course is much easier. Let's be real. Okay, this is where he got it from. Bench press. Oh yeah, he did the bench press weight calculator. He put in 15 times for 135, and he said your approximate 1 rep match bench press. I mean, he is more physically fit than you would expect. That doesn't mean that he is actually throwing up. I don't think he's throwing up 135 for 15. Proof he can lift.
How often are you hitting the gym right now? Got to be tough when you're super tired with the kiddies. I've still been hitting it every weekday. Weekends are very difficult because I'm really on top of the kids. But every weekday I try to hit the gym for an hour with a trainer. So, that's how you get the gun show, guys. You think this stuff, just happens magically? Wrong. Okay, we are late for the gun show, so let me do that real fast because we're going to hit the end of this thing real fast here.
Yeah, that's also his biceps, which are important for stability in and his triceps are certainly important for stability and putting up a decent amount of weight, but we need to see those pectoral muscles to make a decent assessment. In any case, I would love to see Ben do 15 times for 135. I think that would be impressive for his size. Here, we found
Mamdani apparently cannot lift like one of those shake weights. And we now have video of it, and it's pretty impressive. Democrats are starting to retail the person who they think is their front runner for 2028 and all updates from Russia, Ukraine. First, we've been rolling out a lot of new content.
Okay, I'm not going to fucking do that. Okay, here.
And the 33-year-old socialist, again, he's 33, which is like young in the prime of life. He tried to bench. Now, my dude, let me just say.
Dude. The reason why I get annoyed by this is, one, I mean, I lift, and it's an important part of my life, and I want other people to go out and work out as well. And also, I hate when Republicans basically just like steal through the optics of claiming ownership over certain concepts to through the process of repetition, make it seem as though they have ownership over this fucking space. They do not. Okay? They don't. It's utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things as it pertains to like Zohran Mamdani's electoral victory potentially, which seems all but guaranteed. Okay? Having said that, however, the nefarious part about this is that right-wing content creators like try to own this space when it does not correspond to reality. It's not the case that the right-wingers are objectively in better shape than liberals or leftists are. It's actually the opposite. Not that it fucking matters. I am a Republican, Hasan. Hell yeah. Well, you're going to learn today. If there's one subsect of American society that is like genuinely in better shape than everybody else, it's homosexual men. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's why we say gay body is like a totally separate classification. You can be swole, but being gay swole is very different. Okay? And they love voting for the Democrats. Why do you think this matters to the opposition? It goes back to the same thing that I was talking about, which is culture wars and aesthetics. Republicans love maintaining ownership over certain concepts like machismo, right? And they shape what machismo and being masculine is supposed to look like by simply saying certain things. So you don't actually have to be a secure person. You don't actually have to go to the gym. All you need to do is say you're a Republican, and then that comes along with it. Having someone like Ben Shapiro, who is a whiny little twerp, try to take ownership over the gym space is a hilarious example of this. Okay? Is Hasan gay swole? I wish. I fucking wish, dude. I am not gay swole. I'm more frustrated with this concept than anything else. They try to take ownership over authenticity by substituting authenticity with being a fucking asshole. And they succeed on that front on the internet. That's the reason why so many people think like, oh, if someone is being kind to others or advocating to be kind to others, they're a pussy, they're a liar, they must be cynical, they must be grifting. No one would be nice. No one would dare be nice to one another, right? Ain't no fucking way. The same goes for being macho, being masculine, being a man. Like if you're a right winger, that's all you need.
Zohran Mamdani yesterday showed up at the annual Men's Day Open Streets event in Brooklyn on Saturday, where a bunch of dudes were lifting, apparently. And the 33-year-old socialist, again, he's 33, which is like young in the prime of life. He tried to bench. Now, my dude, let me just say that if you're going to do something like this and you're a public figure, you have to know your limitations. Like Zohran Mamdani must have at some point been in a gym. I mean, maybe not, given how this video went. But if you don't know how much you can bench, this is not a great time to try it out. It's like in front of a giant crowd of people in the middle of a mayoral race. So he shows up and he takes a couple of 45s like 2 plates, and he stacks them on the bar. So this is maybe 135 pounds total. It doesn't go well. Here's how it went in Brooklyn.
Here's the thing. This is a mayoral race. It is not going to be determined by who can out bench press one another. It's going to be determined by how many people show up to vote for you. And if you look at those 2 different videos between Eric Adams and Zohran Mamdani, you can kind of get a better understanding of what's going on there. Eric Adams had nobody around him when he was lifting. Zohran had a fuck ton of people around him when he was lifting, and everybody was cheering for him because they don't give a fuck that he can't put up 135 pounds. That's it at the end of the day. Okay? This doesn't determine anything.
He has to have this guy.
Let's go.
They're cheering him.
Yeah. Let me get one more. Let me get 3. Let me get 3. Yeah.
He does not get 3. He gets 2.
He does not get 3. Bro, you're a fucking loser, bro. You are a goddamn nerd. Shut the up. You look and sound like you need to be shoved into a goddamn locker, and you're over here being like, he couldn't get 135 pounds. I, on the other hand, am strong. It's like, come on, dude. Shut your bitch ass up. It's the same with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was talking shit too. It's like, okay, I can outlive both of you motherfuckers. Okay, shut the fuck up. That doesn't mean anything. All right.
Very assisted. Very, very assisted. Bench presses at 135 pounds. So that's not great. Well, Mayor Eric Adams and ex-Governor Andrew Cuomo, both of whom left, pounced on the opportunity, according to the New York Post. Mayor Adams went to the same exact event, and then
like we need to stop with this shit. Okay, Donald Trump can't lift anything. That's number one. Not that it fucking matters. Okay, he can't do nothing. And also, you're a fucking dweeb, bro. You are a goddamn nerd ass loser. Who the put you in charge of making fun of motherfuckers who are trying to put a lift on for the first time in their lives, dude? Get the fuck out of here. What are we talking about? How did this happen? This pissed me off for many different reasons. One, because this is important for me. And 2, because it's utterly irrelevant for an election. And last but not least, I hate that Republicans try to seize every fucking opportunity they can to make it seem as though like they have any ownership over this space whatsoever. You got Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed, who I will be doing a lift with in Dearborn when I'm out there in Michigan this weekend. He's putting up fucking 405 on the bench press, and motherfuckers are still talking about who can outbench one another. Like, what are you talking about?
Proceeded to just knock out a bunch of 135-pound lifts. He then called him Mom Scrawny, as opposed to Mamdani. Quote, the only thing he can lift is your taxes. Andrew Cuomo.
Bitch.